Hi everyone, I hope you're okay. Last week I done a video regarding a potential recession looming. I've seen an article on Construction News just yesterday, and it was about Ibstock and Forterra. They're two of our biggest brick manufacturers and suppliers, and it said that between them they were set to cut approximately 600 jobs. Now, Ibstock are likely to cut about 15% of their workforce in total. Now, that hit home because I thought, actually, who would be the first companies to kind of feel the pinch of a recession? You know, it would tend to be your brick suppliers, concrete, things like that, things that get a project out of the ground and the structure done. So if Forterra and Ibstock are looking to make that kind of cut in their businesses, then it definitely reinforced that point to me. So obviously with that in mind, the video is more about what are you going to do? What are we doing? What are my suggestions? What have I done in my business to try and prepare and to try and see through a recession or see through that period of lull possibly? Now, a few tips that I would give to people is, one, build up an emergency fund. Now, a lot of people may have done this stuff during COVID or when COVID started just to make sure they got through the COVID period, but a recession obviously is going to take over and it'll last for a longer period, so it'll be more longevity. Not saying that COVID won't, obviously, until we find a solution to that problem, that's going to last as well, but the purpose is, what are we doing? What are you going to do? So I would say that you need to build an emergency fund. I would say you need at least 6 months worth of money in the bank. And I say at least 6 months, you know. Some people suggest 12. No, 12 months money is quite a lot of money, but if you can do 12, do more. But you want to be at least 6 months worth of emergency funds in the bank. Another thing I would suggest doing is check your spending. Make sure you know what you're spending. Try and cut them costs that may not be required. Look at potential savings within your business or your personal life, and look at where you can make cutbacks. The third thing I would say is get ahead of any debt. Obviously, if you've got debt, company loans, overdrafts, whatever you might have, try and get ahead of that. Try and make sure that you know how to service that and you're set to service that correctly. And if you can get ahead of it, do that. Look at your investments. See what investments you've had. See what money you've got in investments and see how they're performing. Speak to your financial advisor and make sure you know what's going on in that arena. And the last thing is diversify. Diversify your skill set. So, you know, in construction, if you do loft conversions at the moment, think about what other services you can offer to your clients. You know, can you get into extensions? Have you got that skill set within your team? You know, are you doing shop fits at the moment? Can you get into something else? Are you a ground worker? Could you potentially team up with a bricklaying firm and start building houses? You know, there's a lot of things you need to look at. Diversification and see how you can get through a tough period, because if you diversify your skill set, you're open to more of the market. So there's some of the tips that I've got for people. Obviously, I've done a recession strategy for myself and for my businesses. If anyone wants to have a chat about that, or anyone wants any advice, please do not hesitate to contact me. I'm always happy to have a chat. Everyone take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.